Hello everyone, Weather Jamaica here. Welcome to this updated video on the weather across Jamaica and the rest of the Caribbean. It is Friday evening, August 1, 2025. Now before we jump into it, please ensure that you all like this video. I'd really appreciate it if you all get this video up to 100 likes. If you don't know by now, that's how the YouTube algorithm works. We all like the video and then the YouTube algorithm pushes the video out to more persons who are in the path of these tropical systems so that we can keep everyone safe, especially during the peak month of Atlantic hurricane season, that's August through to October. Share this video with your friends, your co-workers, your relatives, and even your church brethren, and subscribe if you haven't yet done so. Please ensure that you all utilize the progress bar that's located at the bottom of the video, as well as the timestamps that are located not only in the comment section but the video description, so that you can skip to the points in the video that you want to see the most in order to save time, because we know that the videos over here with the Jamaica can be very long. Leave a comment down below letting me know what that's been like in your area recently. Also feel free to ask any weather related question that you might have about the future of the weather in your specific area. Alright, so we need to take a look at some expert insight here, and we're looking at Eric Webb's latest post. If you don't know who he is, he's actually a government meteorologist, part of the weather industrial complex, who from time to time makes some very accurate posts about what's expected across the Atlantic in terms of tropical systems. So he stated today, the intersection of the MJO, a Kelvin wave, and an equatorial Rossby wave over Africa during the second week of August will favor very healthy African easterly waves emerging into the Atlantic in mid-August. In my humble opinion, given how stable the Atlantic is, these waves probably won't develop right away. And we see that he's highlighted a nice little graphic imagery right here. And considering that we're no longer in July, we won't look at the left hand side of this imagery, but we will definitely look at the right hand side. So let us look at what he's highlighting. We know that the whites into the greens represent some amount of rising air, so that means that it is very easy for tropical systems, well, to develop in general, more thunderstorms that are easy to become tropical depressions, if not tropical storms. What he's stating here, and just for reference, we have the Caribbean over here in all of these images, we have Africa over here. So far right now we have some sinking air in the oranges, as we know, but clearly as we head into the first week of August, so basically the first 3 days, we can see that we have some rising air across South America, Central America into the Caribbean. Then by August 4 into 6, we still have something similar, still have a lot of sinking air in the Mandeville region and the African areas. And then by August 7 into August 9, we start to see a flip. More of that rising air across Africa and more of a sinking air kind of pattern in the Caribbean. Then by August 10 to August 12, rising air across Africa and even into the Caribbean. And we know once we get the rising air across Africa, it's very easy for all of these tropical waves to be, pushed off into the main development region from east to west and possibly develop. And what he's stating is that they won't develop right away, but we have to definitely keep a close watch. We're heading into the peak of hurricane season, so we definitely have to stay updated with what occurs. Alright, taking a look at the U.S. National Hurricane Center 7-day graphical tropical weather outlook that just came out at 7:29 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, which is actually 6:29 p.m. Jamaica time. Tropical cyclone activity is not expected during the next 7 days, and this is the reason why right here. The infrared not showing much of anything across the basin. Lots of clouds associated with some systems, some possible tropical waves pushing off of Africa. The usual monsoon trough right there to the west of Africa. A tropical wave right here across the eastern Caribbean. And we can clearly see the numerous troughs still affecting portions of the US. The numerous tropical waves right here to the south of Mexico that have chances of development. But we're going to be seeing that if we do actually get something to form, the next name on the list is Dexter. We have Erin after that, then Fernand. Let's see if we actually get some of these names as we wrap up August. On the eastern Pacific side of things, we're still watching Tropical Storm Gale. We're still watching a code red right here to the east of Gale, and to the east of the code red we have a code yellow. So we know code reds mean that they have a high chance of development. Code yellows a low chance of development. We'll see if those actually come to fruition. As of right now, we can see Gale right in here, definitely looking quite impressive, possibly going to become a hurricane shortly. The area that has a high chance of development to the southwest of Mexico, and another area somewhere in here that has a low chance of development. We'll see exactly what unfolds. Either way, we know that the next name after Gale is Henriette and Ivo. Let's see if we actually get those to form. Alright, so regarding Tropical Storm Gale, it's expected to become a hurricane briefly though. As you can see here, somewhere between the next 24 to, the next, let's say 6 to 12 hours, should possibly flirt with hurricane status, and then downgrading back to a tropical storm into Saturday and Sunday, then back to a tropical depression right here on Monday, then maybe passing to the north of Hawaii. Let's see if that actually unfolds. We know how far out the certainty is not really up there, so we have to pay close attention to see exactly what the Hurricane Center does later on. Either way, as of right now, it is packing maximum sustained winds of 70 miles per hour. So that makes the system a high-end tropical storm. We know that tropical storms basically pack winds of anywhere from 39 to 73 miles per hour winds. So if it's 70 miles per hour that it is packing right now, it's only 4 miles per hour short of becoming a hurricane. Either way, I'm betting that the people of Hawaii are definitely watching that system. Regarding the other system, that's Tropical Storm Iona to the far southwest of Hawaii, still packing maximum sustained winds of 40 miles per hour, so that makes the low-end tropical storm definitely closer to tropical depression status, and we definitely see that it's expected to decrease in intensity back to a tropical depression by 8 a.m. on Saturday. It is currently moving towards west-northwest at 18 miles per hour. Regarding what's happening on the western Pacific side of things, you can still see that we have Tropical Storm Cruiser right here to the east of Japan. It definitely lashed portions of southeastern Japan this morning our time. I'm pretty sure that it was in the afternoon their time. Definitely got in on some of the effects across the Tokyo area, and to the southwest of that tropical storm we have an area that has a high chance of development, a code red right here to the direct south of Japan. And if we take a look at the infrared right here, we can see Tropical Storm Cruiser pushing away to the east of Japan, and that area that has a high chance of development right here to the south of Japan. We'll see if that actually develops for sure. Either way, in terms of cruiser, we still see that it's right here to the east of Japan as we speak, packing maximum sustained winds of 55 knots, and we see the intensity expected to gradually decrease in intensity, 50 knots, 40 knots, 30 knots. We know that they use knots over here in the western Pacific. So if it is packing maximum sustained winds of 55 knots, I will know that tropical storm basically pack anywhere from 34 to 64 knots. Definitely a medium range tropical storm, and it's expected to decrease in intensity for sure, maybe back to a tropical depression by the time we head into the 4th day of August. Taking a look at the surface map of the Atlantic for this evening, we have numerous tropical waves across the basin, but boy, these tropical waves aren't impressive at all. Don't really have much moisture within them. We can definitely make of that tropical wave that we mentioned earlier to the east of the Caribbean. There's supposedly another tropical wave right here affecting Hispaniola to the east of Jamaica, and there's another tropical wave right here to the west of Jamaica. All of these entities being steered from east to west, all courtesy of this ridge of high pressure to the north. And if we take a look at the visible satellite images of the Atlantic before we lost sunlight, let's see if we can make out these entities. I'm guessing the tropical wave that's causing the moisture across portions of Honduras and Nicaragua is right there, but we don't see the moisture right here at all. There's supposedly another tropical wave somewhere in here. I guess the moisture that's across Haiti is the tropical wave that's causing it. And I'm sure that we can all see this tropical wave right in here affecting the Leeward Islands, especially Anguilla, Antigua and Barbuda. We're definitely getting on some thunder showers as we speak. And you can clearly see that all of these entities are being steered from east to west, all courtesy of the ridge of high pressure to the north. We'll be talking more about the rest of the Caribbean weather later on. Let us focus our attention on the prediction that was made in yesterday's video about the weather across Jamaica for today, Friday, August 1, 2025. It was stated that rainfall could have been in the forecast for parts of some central and western parishes on Friday afternoon. And we know central parishes, we're talking about those parishes in the county of Middlesex, like St. Anne, St. Mary, Manchester, Clarendon, St. Catherine. Western parishes, we're talking about those parishes in the county of Cornwall, like Hanover, St. James, Trelawney, Westmoreland, and St. Elizabeth. And what ended up happening? To be honest, I got in on some rainfall in my portion of St. Thomas today, and I'm grateful. It was some decent rainfall, we'll definitely take it. And some of this rainfall even spilled into portions of Kingston and St. Andrew. Definitely got some rainfall down there as well. But as you can see, the visible satellite image was posted right here on our Twitter page with the Jamaica, as well as on our Instagram page with the .Jamaica, on our TikTok page with the Jamaica, and on our Facebook page with the Jamaica 876. So if you have one of those social media platforms, please ensure that you follow us there as we make posts throughout the day that you can't afford to miss. So at around 1:55 p.m, the visible satellite imagery showed some clouds bringing some overcast skies, if not some isolated thunder showers, across sections of some central and some western parishes for sure. Anywhere you see those sparkling yellow dots, that's where we had the lightning strikes, if not lightning flashes for sure. So definitely across sections of northern St. Catherine, southwestern St. Mary, southern St. Anne, northern Clarendon, section of northern St. Elizabeth, Trelawney, section of St. James, Hanover, maybe northeastern Westmoreland for sure. And then another post was made at around 4:05 p.m. highlighting the infrared close-up satellite imagery. And we know the infrared shows us the actual high cold cloud tops associated with these cumulonimbus clouds. We see the blues, greens, yellows, oranges, and especially red. Not to mention the sparkling white dots represent some amount of thunderstorms for sure, especially across western parishes. We're talking about Hanover, Westmoreland, section of St. James, St. Elizabeth, Trelawney, but it was more so overcast skies, especially across the coastal areas for sure. But definitely had that bad weather across Westmoreland and St. Elizabeth northwestern areas. And we even had some thunderstorms pushing off of the western portions of Haiti as well, pushing towards the west, but not, strong enough to make it into the Jamaica area at all. And the visible satellite images of Jamaica right here confirm what took place today. We can definitely see the thunderstorms out west for sure. And look at these clouds pushing in from the east from Haiti, but nothing in the way of bad weather that they're bringing at all. Just some high cirrus clouds. All of the moisture associated with these clouds have dissipated by that time. And the infrared right here confirms this. We see the clouds pushing in from off of Haiti into eastern Jamaica, and we see the clouds that brought us rainfall across central and western Jamaica pushing off towards the west and dissipating, as you can see here. And we definitely have the live camera here from C Jamaica's YouTube channel showing the Boardwalk Gorge at around 2:23 p.m. and look at the heavy rainfall that was taking place at that time. We see the road definitely soaking, people driving about, still going about their business for sure. A couple of days ago we had some heavy rainfall in the Boardwalk area that caused the rear Cobra to change color, but it's back to its normal color right now. As you can see, I'm pretty sure that they are glad for the rainfall to cool down the temperatures. Taking a look at the total accumulated precipitation for the past 24 hours from the Caribbean Institute for Meteorology and Hydrology website, this map does indeed paint quite the picture of where we had that rainfall today, especially across sections of some western parishes: Hanover, Westmoreland, section of northern St. Elizabeth, southern St. James, Trelawney, southern St. Anne, northern St. Catherine for sure, where we just saw across the Boardwalk Gorge. This map does indeed paint quite the picture of where we might have had that rainfall. For sure, even portion of northern St. Andrew, painted in some of that rainfall. And we definitely have some confirmation from some of our followers right here on our social media platforms. We have JLS on our Twitter page stating raining here in South Manchester. This was posted 2 hours ago. Even on our Facebook page, we had the comments coming in. Audrey Jackson stating raining in the hills of St. Andrew, or St. James, sorry. We have Sylvia Bando stating getting overcast in Brownstone with thunder in the distance. Verona Burke stating sun in Ocho Rios. Latoya Taylor stating it's getting overcast. Even on our Instagram page, we have the comments coming in. We have 876 eggs underscore and underscore poultry underscore farm stating overcast in Manchester. We have dynamic underscore speaker stating blessing in Kingston, thank the Lord. We also have aroma 2 lovable stating finally Kingston get a drop of rain. We have Sajaya underscore SM stating rain just easing up in Kingston. We have Shanine Megu stating heard some thunder in Trelawney. Marlon underscore one god underscore stating rain and thunder in Clarendon with the Jamaica, thanks for confirming. We have Tanisha 3610 stating rain like crazy here in Linstead. We have Javon Panton stating Spanish Town cloudy. We have Romeo Pelpa stating finally got rain in Kingston. We have Natalie Stewart stating raining in St. Elizabeth. We have one Ryan that underscore stating overcast in Hanover. Bright Professional Cleaners stating hot in Portmore. We even have some comments right here on our TikTok page. We have Charita Thomas 04 stating we are getting a lot of rain in Linstead, St. Catherine. We have a Bridgemar 2 stating we're praying for some in Runaway Bay. And finally, we have some comments right here on our YouTube post. We have Randall confirming that he didn't get on any rainfall in St. Anne today and it was cloudy at that time. We have Gail Santa stating sunny skies in Galena. Active 4081 stating rain here in South Clarendon with the Jamaica. Thank you all for confirming what the weather is like in your area for today. Alright, so let us reload the very latest still image from the Weather Nerds website. Let us see what's happening right now. The latest still image is showing 0015 UTC, which is actually 7:15 p.m. So this just came out 10 minutes ago, considering that it is 7:25 p.m. right now. As you can see, the clouds that brought us some rainfall across the western end of the island, dissipating as we speak, even although we still have some clouds to the west of Hanover and Westmoreland. Let us see what the latest Cuban Doppler radar, the latest Guantanamo Bay US Navy radar, and the latest Cayman radar are showing. As a matter of fact, let us see if the Met service is Doppler radar is up and running. Let's load that quickly. Alright, so medservice.gov.jm. Doppler radar images still not up and running. Okay, no problem. The Cuban Doppler radar looks like it glitched out today at around 12:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's actually 11:30 a.m. Jamaica time. At that time, we saw some rain bands coming into portions of St. Thomas and Portland. That was definitely, what we got. Well, in my area today, I'm glad that we got some decent rainfall. And then, as you can see here, the Guantanamo Bay US Navy radar confirming what's happening right now. We see some moisture across portions of southeastern Cuba. We also see some of that moisture that brought some rainfall across the western peninsula of Haiti, pushing out to sea, dissipating. And then we have the Cayman radar right in here, confirming some of that rainfall that affected portions of southern Cuba today. Some rainfall right here to the west of Jamaica, and we can clearly see the Cayman Islands right here clearing out. As you can see here, the live camera from See Jamaica's YouTube channel looking at Kingston. We can definitely see everything clearly, a lot of lights for sure, just to show how fair the evening is, and that should be the order of the evening for sure. And I'd like for you to keep in mind that if you'd like to see more live streams like this, just visit See Jamaica on YouTube. They have these live streams all for you all to view for free, so subscribe today so that you don't miss out. Taking a look at the temperatures right now, we can see that we're 28 degrees Celsius in both Montego Bay and Kingston, and by about 4 a.m. on Saturday, temperature should dip down to about 26 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay, 25 degrees Celsius in Kingston. Taking a look at the temperature forecast for tomorrow. This map from the GFS is valid for 18Z on Saturday, which is actually 1 p.m. on Saturday. And we can see Jamaica right here embedded in some slight yellows and some slight oranges. That we know represents maybe 1, maybe even close to 2 degrees Celsius above normal temperatures. I know the normal temperature for the month of August across Jamaica is around 91 degrees Fahrenheit, not much different from the average temperatures in July. I know that 91 degrees Fahrenheit is about the same as 32.8 degrees Celsius. So we should be receiving anywhere from 32.8 to 34.8 degrees Celsius at most for Jamaica's temperature on Saturday. And we have at least one maintenance outage advisory here from my JPS Online's Twitter page that we have to highlight. I know that we have to highlight these because we know that when we have power outages somewhere across the island, it can definitely make the heat feel even worse because we don't have our fan or our AC to cool us down. So if you live or work in these areas, or if you have friends or relatives who live or work in these areas, please let them know that a power outage is coming their way on Saturday, August 2, 2025. We're referring to Brooksland as well as Mount Stewart in the parish of St. Thomas from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. And we have some tips right here to beat the heat as usual. It stays here: dress down, wear lightweight clothing and use sunscreen. Check on others, including children, elderly people with medical conditions, and pets. Be cool, stay indoors and make use of fans and air conditioners. Avoid alcohol and caffeine as they can make dehydration worse. Limit non-essential strenuous activity during the hottest parts of the day. And I cannot stress enough the importance of keeping hydrated throughout the day. Drink lots of water even if you're not thirsty, and put away those sugar drinks and drink water instead. Taking a look at the dry air map, we know that the dry air is represented by what we see here on the key on the bottom. That's the yellows, the oranges, the reds, and what's in those reds. We can see the brunt of the dry air now situated closer to Africa, as you can see here. Even although we still have some dry air across the Greater Antilles into the Caribbean, right in here we see some of the yellows. That's what we like to see, more yellows more than the oranges and reds for sure. So it's, yes, we have some dry air, but it's not that significant. We see some moisture across the Eastern Caribbean associated with that tropical wave. We also see some moisture across the intertropical convergence zone extending down into Africa. We see some moisture to the east of the US into the Gulf and the waters to the south of Mexico, where we have all of the moisture that could become something. That's what we want to see. We want to see more moisture, that we get more clouds, that we get more rainfall for sure. But regarding the Saharan dust forecast, we're looking at the next 3 days, so August 2 all the way to August 4, 2, 3, and 4. So we can see August 2 right in here has a Jamaica getting in on some slight Saharan dust, but it won't even be noticeable. August 3 into 4, not much of anything. And then by August 5, I'm pretty sure that this plume is going to be coming in. We see it pushing into the Eastern Caribbean by August 3. We see the greens, we see the yellows. It definitely could be noticeable in the air, some slight hazy condition. Hope that you all have your meds handy. Asthma, sinusitis could be kicked off a bit, but we're glad that it is not that vigorous of a plume at all. We don't see the dark reds into the pinks at all, but it is a bit, something to be slightly a bit concerned about. Taking a look at the wave forecast for tomorrow, we can definitely see that the highest waves are still to the south of Jamaica, where we have the dark blues into the purples and the pinks. That's the 2 to 2.5 meter wave heights, and that's because of the strong east-northeasterly winds in the yellows, up to 25 knot winds at that. And if we take a closer look at Jamaica's wave forecast, to the north of Portland, 1 meter wave height tomorrow. To the south of St. Thomas, 1.2 meter wave height. To the north of St. Anne, 0.8 of a meter wave height. To the south of Clarendon, 0.6 of a meter wave height. To the south of Westmoreland, 0.6 of a meter wave height. To the north of Hanover, 0.5 of a meter wave height expected. And that's because of the easterly winds that are expected tomorrow. We can clearly see the winds coming in from the east, yes, and we can also see that the strongest winds are on the south coast, where we have the brighter greens. So up to 15 knots right here to the south of St. Thomas, 13 knots to the south of Manchester. To the north of Trelawney and St. Anne, we have 12 knots. And look at where the air is piling up. It could be across sections of some northern and western parishes. That's where we could have those low-level clouds becoming mid-level rain clouds, if not upper-level cumulonimbus clouds. So wherever we have the least amount of wind, that's where the air could pile up. So we have that diurnal convection, that daytime heating rainfall, and the upper-level winds for tomorrow don't even have much in the way of upper-level winds. So we could have something similar to what took place today when we had the convection today. we saw that the thunderstorms, fanned out in all directions, so they weren't being blown off to a specific direction. You notice the thunderstorms were more so in a circular kind of pattern across the western end, so we don't see any thunderstorms being sheared off to any specific direction or anything like that. So we don't have much in the way of wind shear at all. Definitely conducive for tropical development. That's what the storms do love, for sure. So if we actually get some thunderstorms tomorrow, the clouds will be fanned out into all directions, bringing overcast skies to a wide area. But regarding the actual rainfall forecast maps, this map from the Euro and this map from the GFS are both valid for 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is actually 3 p.m. Jamaica time. And what do both maps show? We see the blues, especially across sections of some central and western parishes on the Euro. The GFS, which is usually the map that we look at for the most accurate rainfall in the afternoon, is showing more of that rainfall across northern and western parishes, and I'm more in line to believe what the GFS is showing. The GFS has been right for the most part regarding the afternoon rainfall. We see Hanover shaded, so too St. James, Trelawney, St. Anne, section of Westmoreland, northern St. Elizabeth, sections of northern Manchester, northern Clarendon, and we even see a section of Kingston and St. Andrew shaded in some of the blues. So let's see if we actually get some of that rainfall for sure. Even the total accumulated precipitation forecast maps are in agreement that it's going to be raining somewhere in Jamaica within the next 24 hours. The Euro going up to at least 0.31 of an inch of rainfall. The GFS going up to at least 0.41 of an inch of rainfall. And whatever happens, we'll definitely take it, because we're in the month of August now. And in Kingston, whose bar graph is being shown right here at the top, we shall receive around, let's say, about 95 millimeters of rainfall in the month of August for Kingston. In Montego Bay, we shall receive around close to 5 inches of rainfall. And I would like for you to keep in mind that if you'd like to find out what your specific parish shall receive in terms of rainfall by the month of August or for the entire year, you can visit weatherandclimate.com and that website to show you that information. And you can use this nice graphic right here that converts rainfall from inches to millimeters. We know that 1 inch of rainfall is about the same as 25 millimeters of rainfall. Alright, so we're going to be looking at what the next 7 days have in store for us according to the latest Euro and GFS Supercomputer model runs that came out today. So keep your eyes focused on the timestamp right here at the top as we go to the next 168 hours that stands for the next 7 days. Keep your eyes focused on Jamaica right in here as you look for all of this that we see on the key on the right. That's the reds, the oranges, the yellows, and the greens that represents inches of rainfall. So let's see what's going to be taking place. Alright, so we just looked at Saturday's forecast. Now we're looking at Sunday. 12Z on Sunday is actually 7 a.m. and we don't see much of anything across Jamaica. We do see some greens to the south and the east of us. Let's see what the afternoon looks like. Sunday afternoon, we see some rainfall across some eastern, southern, and western parishes. What does the GFS show? Sunday morning, rainfall across the northeastern end. Sunday afternoon, rainfall across eastern, central, and western parishes. Interesting. And looks like a lot of rainfall too. We see dark greens into the yellows. Let's see. GFS is usually right regarding the afternoon rainfall. Monday morning, we see rainfall to the southwest of us, to the northeast of us. The Euro for Monday afternoon shows some rainfall across the eastern and the western end. What does the GFS show? Monday morning, rainfall across southern and eastern parishes. Monday afternoon, let us see, it looks like eastern, northern, and western parishes. What do we see on Wednesday morning or Tuesday morning? Alright, so Tuesday morning, not really seeing much of anything on the Euro. Tuesday afternoon, maybe some isolated showers across the far eastern and western end. What does the GFS show? Tuesday morning, rainfall across the far eastern end. Tuesday afternoon, rainfall across the far northwestern end. What do we see on Wednesday? Wednesday morning, not really seeing much of anything. Wednesday afternoon, maybe some isolated showers across some southern parishes. What does the GFS show? Wednesday morning, rainfall across the northeastern end of the island. Wednesday afternoon, maybe some rainfall across some central and western parishes. What do we see on Thursday morning? Not really seeing much of anything. Thursday afternoon, however, we see that rainfall in the greens across eastern, central, and western parishes. What does the GFS show? Thursday morning, maybe some rainfall across the far northeastern end. Thursday afternoon, maybe some rainfall across some central and western parishes. What do we see at the end of the 168 hours? So this is valid for Friday, August 8th. You see some isolated showers surrounding the island. What does the GFS show at the end of the 168 hours? some rainfall surrounding the island as well. Interesting. Either way, in terms of the total accumulated precipitation for the next 7 days, both maps right here from the Euro and the GFS are still adamant that the most rainfall over the next 7 days should be across Northern South America into Central America, where we see the dark reds into the purples and the pinks. That we know represents anywhere from 2 all the way up to 5 inches of rainfall, like what we see around the key on the right. While other areas that are shaded in the greens, yellows, oranges, and reds, that represents up to 1 inch or less of rainfall, like across the Lesser Antilles and the Greater Antilles into the Bahamas. Those areas should be getting on 1 inch or less of rainfall for sure. And regarding Jamaica's total accumulated precipitation, we can see Jamaica shaded in the blues into the greens, represents anywhere from 5 millimeters of rainfall all the way up to 36 millimeters of rainfall in the east. The GFS a bit more robust with the rainfall totals, going up to the 40 millimeters of rainfall in the east, even all the way up to the 60 millimeters of rainfall range in the central to the western end of the island. We know that's going to be during the afternoon hours. We'll have to pay close attention to these forecasts for sure. Definitely very interesting forecast for sure. Alright, we're going to be looking at what's happening across the rest of the Caribbean. Alright, so here we go. We can see that we have a tropical wave right here across the eastern Caribbean. Definitely bring some rainfall to portion of the Leeward Islands as we speak for sure. Let's see what's happening down there. Definitely going to be seeing a lot of moisture in and around the Leeward Islands. Look at that, a lot of moisture to the east of the US and British Virgin Islands, in and around St. Martin, St. Kitts and Nevis, Antigua and Barbuda, Guadeloupe, Dominica, Martinique, getting in on their fair share of rainfall for sure. Even saw some rain bands across western Puerto Rico today, heavy rainfall at that. Some isolated showers coming into portion of northeastern Puerto Rico. If we take a look at the Barbados radar, we can see some rainfall pushing in from the southeast, associated with that tropical wave pushing into section of Dominica, Martinique, St. Lucia. Some rainfall coming into portion of Barbados. We also see some rainfall right over here pushing towards St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Some rainfall right here to the east of Trinidad and Tobago. And if we take a look at the weather view of Doppler radar images, we can see some other rainfall across section of Florida, section of Cuba, the Yucatan, northern Guatemala. We can also see some rainfall across sections of Honduras. And regarding where the rainfall is expected within the next 24 hours, both maps right here from the Euro and the GFS are adamant that over the next 24 hours, the most rainfall, as usual, is going to be where we have the reds. So Panama, Colombia, section of southern and western Venezuela. We also see some rainfall expected for a portion of Nicaragua, Honduras, section of Guatemala, Belize, the Yucatan Peninsula, Florida, the Bahamas, Cuba, section of the Cayman Islands, section of Jamaica, Haiti, Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, the US and Virgin Islands, sections of St. Martin, St. Kitts and Nevis, Antigua and Barbuda, Anguilla, Montserrat, Guadeloupe, Dominica, sections of Martinique, section of St. Lucia, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Trinidad and Tobago, Barbados. We even see some rainfall into sections of Guyana, Suriname and French Guiana, especially the coastal areas over there. And that when both maps from the Euro and the GFS are in a consensus like this, the chances are higher for it to actually take place. Alright, that's it for today. Thanks for watching.